Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen. This week we are making Swedish Fat Tuesday buns, aka Semlor. Side note, that's one semla, two semlor. In Sweden they put the R for plurals instead of an S like we do in English. People go insane for these. Every single bakery sells so many. The bakery I work at, we're literally selling thousands every weekend. It's super intense. But they're really delicious. Just a plain cardamom bun, lots of almond filling, whipped cream. Cannot be more simple, but could also not be more delicious. So let's just get started. When making semlor, the first thing you have to do is, obviously, make the dough. So you have your milk, boop, and then you just add in all of your flour, all of the sugar, all of the butter, all the salt, all the cardamom, all the yeast. Boom. Pop it in your machine. This is gonna go on a slow-ish speed, slow medium, for 5 minutes just until all the ingredients are combined. And then after 5 minutes, you kick it up to about like a medium fast for 10 to 20 minutes, depending on your mixer, so that the dough actually gets worked and develops all that gluten. It has now been 20 minutes because this machine is very underpowered, so everything takes forever. I could mix it a little bit more, but I think it's gonna be just fine. The dough now needs to rest. It's gonna sit for 10 minutes just to relax and kind of get its mojo back. So I don't need to worry about popping it into the fridge or anything. That's not gonna be helpful today. I'm just kind of pressing it into a rectangular-ish shape. I'm gonna cover it with plastic. It'd be fine without it, but I like the idea of tucking it in to bed for the night. Let this baby sit for 10 minutes. My darling dearest here is much more relaxed, much more happy, ready to go. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. It's gonna be real nice. I'm going to portion these pieces between 65 and 70 grams. I don't wanna go lower than 65 or higher than 70 because I want them all to be basically the same size so that they proof at the same rate and they bake at the same rate. Very important. All my babies portioned, lined up, ready to go, time to roll. I don't need any flour on here. They're just slightly tacky and I don't wanna get rid of that. And if there's flour on here, they're just gonna be sliding around. You are going to take your little guy, fold it over, and I start like this with my hand and I'm making this motion and I am starting to bring the edges underneath. And once I feel like I've started to have kind of a smooth shape like that, that's when I start to round. And that's when I have this C shape with my hand. This is the part of my hand that's sitting on the work surface. And the ball of dough is going around in my hands. And what you're looking to do is to form a skin over the top that is smooth. And this final movement I'm doing, going like this, it helps pinch it all together so it's pinched and nice on the bottom. And now it is round, it is high, it is happy. This is what we're looking for. Step 2 is to do it two-handed like a professional. It's the exact same thing except that you just do it with 2 hands and faster. Sometimes, if this one, I'm left-handed, so if I do one with my right hand, sometimes it doesn't turn out as well, and I'll just switch it to my left and finish it off that way. That seems to help. Woo! They're so cute! Okay, so now it's time to put them on a tray and let them proof. I have 2 trays here because I don't want these guys to all proof up and then stick together. They look so much better when they have lots of room to grow and they have none of their sides have been touching. So I'm just gonna put 8 on each, like that. so that they're nicely spread apart. So even when they double in size, they're not gonna like touch each other. These need to proof, I'd say anywhere between an hour, 2 hours. It depends on how warm and humid your environment is, but really they need to be like doubled in size, nice and super floofy. You don't wanna underproof these at all. But I have a cool trick for you guys to proof them faster. What I do is I have a pot with boiling water in it, and I put it on the bottom of the oven. I put my buns in the oven. The oven is off, and I let the steam just kind of make a proof box out of my oven. You just wanna make the environment very warm and wet. And because it has such a high humidity, you don't need to cover them at all. While our buns are proofing, we are going to make the almond filling in the middle of the semla. There are 100 ways to skin a cat. This is Semlor that are really pretty straight up, pretty classic, nothing too weird or anything. There's a little bit of a convenience factor as well. So with that all being said, mandel masa, almond paste, 50%, Ika brand. This is what my Ika had. Thank you, Ika. A quick note for anybody from America, this is not marzipan, this is almond paste. And I know at Ralph's, at least in California, that there usually is both almond paste and marzipan in the baking aisle. All of my mandel masa is now in my bowl, and I'm gonna use my paddle attachment. And we wanna add in just a little bit of water at a time. You don't wanna dump all the water in, because then it's just gonna coat the mandel masa or the almond paste, and it's never, like, you're gonna get just these big clumps and you're totally screwed. So a little tiny bit of water at a time, especially in the beginning. Once your first little bit of water is in, just go ahead, keep adding about a tablespoon at a time. Once you start to get a little bit more on the looser side, you wanna make sure that you're scraping in between additions so that there's no like chunks of almond paste left, and that it's all getting worked out and made into a smooth dough before you add in more water. All the water is in, and it is now lovely and soft and smooth, and it is now time to start adding a little bit more flavor. So what I have here is bitter almond aroma. In America, you can just use almond extract. Basically, we're just trying to make it a little bit more almondy. Fun fact, bitter almond is illegal in America because it contains faint traces of cyanide. And you have to eat like quite a bit, like a large handful of bitter almond to get enough cyanide in you to kill you. But it is poisonous enough that it is illegal in the States, but it is perfectly legal here in Sweden. This bitter almond, I'm just gonna add, like, it's really strong. It's really strong. So I'm gonna add like a tiny bit at a time, like 1 to 2 drops, and we're gonna go from there. I also have here some chopped toasted salted almonds. Let's talk about these almonds. I sometimes like a smooth filling, sometimes I like a crunchy filling. Today I felt like a crunchy filling. You can omit these almonds, you can add them in here. It's really kind of up to you. Now, did I toast and salt these myself? No, I did not. I bought a handy dandy bag of dry roasted and salted almonds. If we were in a fancy restaurant or a fancy bakery, we would obviously do our own almonds, but ain't nobody got the time for that. I'm at home, I wanna eat a semla, bagged almonds it is, and that's perfectly okay. So, add all almonds in. I chopped them a lot, kind of fine, and I made sure I got all the like almond dust in there as well. And just mix it around until it is all homogeneous. Lovely. And now, taste test. Very, very important to always taste and see if you want a little bit more salt. Does it need a little bit more water? Do you want more bitter almonds? All of these things are to be adjusted to your own taste and preference. All right, I know that I want more of everything. So I don't really want more almond in there, so I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. because I feel like the flavors need to be a little bit more. And I'm also gonna add a little bit more extract. That was another 2, 3, 4 drops. I'm also gonna add about a tablespoon more water just because I like a looser filling than kind of a harder filling. Again, that's to your preference. The recipe is down below in the description, as always. And I would say, again, that the almonds, the almond extract, salt, and even the water, like start with the base recipe that I give you and then add according to your own taste. There we go. That's what I wanted. A little bit more almondy. The salt helps make it just a little bit more, really kind of pushes up those flavors a little bit. So this is good to go. We're going to quick pop it in a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you could of course just use a spoon, but I don't know, I like using piping bags. Filling is now ready to go. Put that to the side, and now we're just waiting for the buns to be done. It has been about 45 minutes now, and these guys are totally ready to go. So this is definitely a faster method, popping them in the oven like this. These are ready to go. So I brought them out and my oven heats up really fast. So I know I can proof these all the way and then heat up my oven. If your oven takes a long time to heat up, have that in mind when you're proofing these. Like, you don't want to over proof them waiting for your oven. So take them out as you need. Look how cute these babies are. I'm so excited. These babies were in a 175 degrees Celsius oven. They took about 15 minutes. These guys were on the bottom and then on the top, and these guys were on the top. I think that's why they have a little bit more of this color first. But honestly, they're both super cute. I'm super happy. I'm gonna take them off the tray and put them directly on the marble. And this way they cool down faster so that I get to eat them sooner. While my children are cooling down, I am going to whip the cream so that I am ready for them when they are done. I have here 5 deciliters of cream, and I'm gonna use all of it. And I'm just gonna whip by hand. You can of course whip in the stand mixer, but then I would have to get my stand mixer back out of the cabinet, and I already put it away, so we're just gonna whisk by hand. Now the key to whipped cream on top of your semla is that it's not over whipped. Don't over whip your cream. It should not be stiff, stiff, stiff. We want a nice, soft whip. This is good. It's holding its shape, but that's it. This is delicious. You start pushing it further, it starts getting grainy. It's not nice in your mouth. This is nice. We like this. This is the traditional shape. So you're gonna go in and cut, and then just cut in a nice little triangle-y guy and pull it out. And then you want to pull out just a little bit of the filling because you haven't gone very far around, and then you just fill her up. With the circles, you can cut a little bit farther like that, so you don't need to take any of the filling out. So you can of course leave the lids like this for the round ones, but what we do at the bakery is we cut them out, which just makes them look really nice and gives them that professional finish. So triangle, filling all the way in. It's a smaller hole, but it's deeper. And then the round ones, you don't need, it has a larger surface area, so you don't need to dig into it. So what is really popular in Stockholm right now is to take a round bun like this and do the topping, and then to dip this in more chopped, roasted, salted almonds. But because I decided to put some inside the filling, we're just gonna go with these like this. For the whipped cream, you do need a piping bag. Obviously, for both the filling and the whipped cream, if you don't care what it looks like, you can just spoon them over. But I have piping bags, so I'm gonna use piping bags. You wanna use you can use whatever you want. But I like to use the twisty star tip, like this one. So put your tip into the bag and then twist and push in. And this way you can fill the bag, but nothing's gonna come out of the bottom. Always check your cream. I did mine beautifully, it's perfect. Try to keep your piping bag as clean as possible, which I didn't really do this time, which I hate. I hate a dirty piping bag, but it'd be like that sometimes. Whee! Ooh, that's nice. And then same exact thing on these guys. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. So now, round, 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 little triangle boy, other little triangle boy, and other triangle boy. Then of course you're going to want some powdered sugar. Very traditional, very important. Now that our semlor are all made, there are two different ways that you can eat it. There is the quote unquote normal or like more modern, the way that we do it now, which is you go to the bakery and then you pick up your semla and then you go and you eat your semla. Pretty straight up, a bun's a bun, right? But there's also the more traditional, old-fashioned way, which was how I grew up with it with my Swedish grandmother. And that is you have your semla in a little bowl like this and some very warm milk, and you're just gonna pour it around the side. And it's quite a lot of milk, and eat it that way, which by the way in Swedish is called hetvägg. It's so good. That filling is really like, I like hetvägg better because it makes it more, well, not better, it's just different. It just makes it feel very dessert-like. Whereas for me, this is a bun, you know? I mean, it's a little messy to eat on the road, but like, you can just eat it. But I love both versions. It's up to you. You do you, whatever version you like best. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this week's video. And please, in the comments down below, let me know, how do you like to eat your semla? Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. I also, as always, have the recipe down below, as well as my Instagram handle. If you make these, please tag me. And I hope I see you guys around next week. Hejdå!